As you probably guessed from the title of this particular episode, this might not be the most appropriate episode for kids under the age of 18 to watch. So if you are one or or you're an adult with one in the room with you, this might not be the best episode for them. Maybe they can go to the previous episode and watch that one. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Michael Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, you like the books that I talk about, then subscribe, support the show, share these videos with your friends, comment, let me know what you think about it, and also follow us on social media on our journey to share awesome books with awesome people. Man, I am just bursting with excitement. I've been waiting all week to share this book with you because I finished it almost as soon as I bought it, and I bought it almost as soon as it came out. So today we're going to talk about a brand new book called The Case Against the Sexual Revolution, A Guide to Sex in the 21st Century by Louise Perry. Perry is a columnist who was formerly a diehard feminist sexual revolution advocate, and today she does more investigative journalism, which is more what this book kind of is, as well as kind of a social commentary, and she's also an advocate against male sexual violence. Her book details her journey and research into the sexual revolution within Western culture, its presumed positive effects, whatever they may be, and its myriad negative effects. I consider this not only to be one of my new favorite books as far as just how it's written, the information, the purpose, the power of this book, but I also consider it to be one of the most important books of the 21st century, period, and you'll find out why. Like every review, we always start with something kind of lighthearted, so we're looking at the aesthetics, very plain, very simple, with a kind of modern look here, blue book with a white tissue box that's kind of generic looking, and then black lettering. Obviously, it's meant to be kind of metaphorical and representative, but just quite nice. So let's move on to the readability. Perry writes with clarity, with humor, and, in my opinion, a stellar blend of tact and bluntness. This perfect little combination of opposites, and she keeps things interesting with a combination of statistics and stories and personal anecdotes from her own experience, and commentary that make for an easy but very stimulating read. So as far as the readability goes, she gets a perfect score, 10 out of 10. So here we go, and let's talk about the content. Perry evaluates the Western sexual revolution as it stands today and begins with the morbid evaluation of two American cultural icons that occupied similar space in the sexual culture but had vastly different experiences of it and different ends to their life as a result of it. She tells the story of notorious carouser Hugh Hefner, the founder of Playboy magazine, and then Marilyn Monroe, the famous actress who was featured in the magazine in the early days of her career. She uses this anecdote as a backdrop with countless statistics, data, and research to tell the story of how women have been fed a lie that their bodies and dignity are appropriate fodder to sell away for the price of supposed liberation. She gives numerous accounts of the dangers, drawbacks, proven unhappiness, and just disenchantment of young women who fall into this mindset through cultural brainwashing, whether that's through social media, through movies, through advertisements. At one point, she makes a personal anecdote that I believe she lives in England. As she's walking through the streets, she can't go an entire street corner without running into just images of just butts and boobs for different random things that have nothing to do with underwear. I mean, you're talking about like a smoothie commercial or a smoothie advertisement, and there's someone's butt just hanging out in the billboard. It's absolutely unnecessary, and it infuses people's minds. In addition to this, they're also being told in universities and in schools that it's okay to get into this kind of sexual culture younger and younger and younger. She sets each chapter up to present a basic point that should be common sense to people like you and me who have not been sold hook, line, and sinker to the belief that women are capable of gaining power through giving their bodies to men and pretending to have the sexual drive and desires and the physical capabilities that men have. That men and women are just fundamentally different, and people trying to force this belief is really hurting women more, and it's actually helping piggish men. Some of her common sense points that she backs up with evidence include things like sex must be taken seriously, that it is something, it's not just something casual like shaking someone's hand. There is a fundamental difference. She talks about that the fact that men and women are physically, chemically, emotionally, spiritually, just very different in who we are. Another one of her points is loveless sex is not empowering. That's something that goes definitely against the grain in today's society. She makes the point that consent is not enough. If you just have this bare layer of if both people consent to it, anything goes, that's actually very damaging, and it victimizes one particular group, typically the weaker group, or the group that isn't as engaged in this style, which tends to be women. And one of her final points, and one of my favorite, is the fact that marriage is fundamentally good. Marriage is a good thing. She takes particular aim at the porn industry and its eviscerating effects on marriage, relationships, happiness, sexual desires, impotence particularly in men, but also in women, violent fantasies and actions from those fantasies being carried out, and the horrific exploitation of women, including young underage girls. In one case, she talks about how there was a young girl who was featured on videos, her naked body, and she was featured in these videos as a minor. She was underage when these videos were released without her permission, without her consent, online on Pornhub. She begged for years and sent demand letters, emails, everything to try to get Pornhub to take her videos of her exposed body being treated like a piece of meat from this site, and tried to get them taken off. And they refused until serious litigation started coming on the line about her particular case, and more stories like hers where people had their bodies exposed as underage children. Some of these people have went on to commit suicide as a result of never being able to take back the fact that something personal, something that was theirs, was stolen and stripped away and mass distributed for the profit of companies like Pornhub, and more notoriously, this mass conglomerate of this cyber porn industry, which is called MindGeek, which has become just this figure of just absolute pure evil when it comes to treating people like bits of flesh to be sold on a market. She also includes a part where she's absolutely debunking the lie that sex work is real work, which is nothing more than an inconsistent justification to put women into dangerous situations and men into situations of unnecessary temptation to release inner demons that might not have been exposed had we had the society that knew how to treat people with civility and to treat people as whole people and not just objects for pleasure and entertainment. In this book, Perry presents one of the most complete, direct, and powerful opening salvos at the most dominant cultural movement in centuries, which is the sexual revolution. Her book, in my opinion, marks the opening shots in a generational war, one that will take decades upon decades to undo. That will become, in what I believe to be the end of the sexual revolution as we know it. And honestly, God bless Louise Perry for writing this book. So as far as the content goes, perfect score, 10 out of 10. One part of the book that I found really powerful is a single paragraph in the chapter called Marriage is Good, where she has this culmination of all this evidence about how poisonous this world has become for women. And so in this paragraph, she writes, "The task for practically minded feminists then is to deter men from cad mode. Our current sexual culture does not do that, but it could. In order to change the incentive structure, we would need a technology that discourages short-termism in male sexual behavior, protects the economic interests of mothers, and creates a stable environment for the raising of children. And we do already have such technology, even if it is old, clunky, and prone to periodic failure. It's called monogamous marriage." I ordered this book online from Amazon, and you can find it there too. Whatever you may think of Perry and her politics and personal opinions, whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, there's no doubt that she has written a journalistic masterpiece with this book, and I highly recommend you go out and get it. Again, the book is called The Case Against the Sexual Revolution by Louise Perry. Go out and get yourself a copy. Please buy one for yourself. Buy one for other friends who might be huge advocates for this new wave sexual revolution. Go out and buy the book. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go read something.
Sometimes I feel close to the edge again.